Yo, what is up, gamers, players, casuals, and everything in between? This week, we welcome you to episode 4 of the weekly patch notes. I'm your host, Thamziri, a YouTuber and content creator for SuperTubit in partnership with Logitech G. That might change. Catch me on my YouTube channel, Thamziri, and it's the same for all my personal gaming content social medias, which is like Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, and then first up, we've got young Maxwell, a millennial gamer, with takes that you have to hear to believe, because sometimes might be tripping, ranging from the sane to the ridiculous. What is good, Max?
Hey man, I'm always available. What's
Nice.
up?
Oh, weird dog. And then we got the homie Kid Kojo. Find him on his Twitter as Barnacle9 and check out his blog about his personal life and gaming called Before the Clock Strikes 12. Yes, Before the Clock Strikes 12. What's good, Jazzy?
I'm chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm breezy, man. I am breezy. I hope you guys saw the comet last night. If you got the chance. But anyways, yeah, as always, our social media handles and links will be in the description, so don't worry about missing out on any information. Alongside those links are links to any other articles and information, with the relevancy that we speak about on this episode. And with all that said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow X to Skip. And any and all support is welcome. We love. Now, let's get into some gaming tidbits, starting with young Max. Hold up, Max. Does anyone have any admin announcements? Nothing, no? We're good.
Oh, the only announcement I have is this week was a stacked week of events. Like, February is going to be a crazy month, and there's still more to be coming this month. So let's get into it.
Let's go, bro. Hit us up.
All right, beginning with the gaming news. So we're going to be starting with some somber news. I want to begin by first talking about actress Annie Wershing, who did motion capture and voice work for Tess in The Last of Us, passed away this week at 45 years of age due to cancer. She was diagnosed in 2020, but continued acting and never revealed the type of cancer she was battling. Other roles she was known for along her career were playing in 24, CSI, Timeless, Vampire Diaries, Star Trek Picard, and many, many more. So I just want to say that here at X to Skip, we wish her family, friends, associates, and fans the best during this period. And for those interested and able to support, there's a GoFundMe set up to help her family. She departs with a few boys and her husband. And at the time of this recording, the GoFundMe has generated roughly $205,000 for a goal of $250,000. And the link to the GoFundMe will be provided in the description of this episode. But basically, the money is to help her family get by and to kind of like put in money for the kids' college funds. I believe the oldest child is about 12 and the youngest is 4, I believe. I could be wrong. That's the starting news with Annie Wershing. We wish the best to her family and everyone involved. And then moving on, remember when we spoke about layoffs at Microsoft and game divisions being affected, and 343 Industries being one, and wondering if this will impact Halo going forward?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got our answer sooner than I expected, honestly. So Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports that going forward, the company is having a fresh restart with its approach to Halo by having internal shifts. A lot of people have been booted out and other people are moving around in position. And then also the biggest thing coming up is that the developers are changing the game engines from the Slipspace engine, I believe it is. I always confuse it with Slipspace and Slipstream, but I believe it's Slipspace, to Unreal 5. And they will be focusing on the multiplayer aspect going forward, like the campaign and all of that stuff. It's more or less dead at this point because a lot of the people who got laid off and who are getting progressively laid off have to do with the art direction and the campaign direction, whereas the multiplayer aspect is still being preserved. And it's believed that battle royale mode is going to be introduced later down the lines, but because they're shifting to a new engine, this means that the battle royale mode, which was codenamed Tatanka or something like that, I get the pronunciation wrong, but Tatanka, I believe it is. This is probably going to be years away because they're switching to another engine, unless internally they had already switched to the engine and now it's becoming official, because reports are that there were a lot of struggles with using the previous engine, and that's why there's a switch to a newer engine, because Unreal is a lot more understood and everybody are able to work with it, as opposed to the other engine where a lot of people who are involved with it are not part of the 343 team anymore. So I guess it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then moving on from that, we got WWE's Zelina Vega will be a commentator on the upcoming Street Fighter 6 that's releasing this year on the 2nd of June. This was revealed during the Royal Rumble event, where Zelina made her entrance in a Hanjuri cosplay. She will be lending her voice to the game for a live commentary feature alongside a number of other voices like FGC commentator Steve Scott, James G. Chensa Chen, and Ryutaro Arunoda. That's Street Fighters. And moving on, here's a confusing Switch news, which was a little tricky to understand, but let's see if you guys understood it better than I did on the first time I heard it. Let's see if I give the news story justice. So Red Deer Games has released a game of sorts on the Nintendo Switch titled New Operating System, or NOS for short. The game has been getting clowned by Switch users because the game functions like an app but markets itself as an operating system. And its purpose isn't all that clear. So let me try and explain. When you download and install this third-party game from the Nintendo eShop, it allows you to open up the game and interact with a calculator, a picture gallery, a to-do list, a notepad, a puzzle game, and an MS Paint-like drawing function. That's it. So who is this for? Who knows, because you can do all of this stuff with your phone or personal computer. I would assume it's probably targeted at little kids or something like that. But again, personal computer or a phone have better functions in this game. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it wouldn't have been all bad if the marketing for this thing wasn't so confusing, as it appears to look as if it's meant to be an actual operating system for the Switch, but it isn't. And the bare-bone game, that's actually more like an app, but wants you to think it's an OS, is not for free. It's retailing at $40. Okay. Then moving on from that confusing situation, this week IGN and Perp Games had a PSVR 2 showcase. Perp Games is a UK-based games publisher, and the games they announced were Madison VR, a horror game, Desperate Vladivostok, a bullet hell game, Afterlife VR, another horror game, Ghost of Tabor, an FPS game, Dyschronia Chronos Alternate, a detective mystery game, Synth Riders Remastered Edition, a beats rhythm game, Song in the Smoke Rekindled, a jungle-based survival game, Cave Diggers 2 Dig Harder, a mining simulator first-person shooter game, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition, an action-adventure game, and VR Skater, a skateboarding game. As some of these games are already available on other platforms or serve as remasters or enhancements, the developers are providing either extra features, free upgrades, or new downloads to entice both new and old players. And sticking with the topic of PSVR 2, PSVR 2 sales expectations reportedly have been halved from 2 million to 1 million due to low pre-orders. That is the report going around, but Sony claimed that that's not true. They have not halved their sales expectations due to what is perceived as poor pre-orders. And I don't know where to feel about this, because on the one hand, I think it is true that expectations have been halved because pre-order sales have not been that great because the price of the PSVR 2 is ridiculous. I believe it's $420 or somewhere around there. It might even be $500. I should fact check that, but I do cleanly remember that everybody has been talking about how to get on the PSVR 2 costs more than just buying a PlayStation 5 alone, because you have to buy the PSVR 2 and then you have to buy accompanying games, since PSVR 1 games do not roll over to PSVR 2. But on the other hand, I don't know what to think, because there seems to be a lot of excitement and expectation for PSVR 2. Like, all the first-hand previews I've been seeing of it and all of that stuff have been glowing and so positive and talking about how PSVR 2 is going to be ushering in a new age for VR. But I suppose, there can be excitement for VR, but adoption can be low, since it's not necessarily a cheap thing to get into. But anyway, we'll see down the line how that goes, whether, expectations were halved because adoption is not that great, or no, this was all a nothing burger, and actually a lot of people are excited for PSVR 2 and jumping on board early on. But Sony have been touting that there'll be almost, I believe, 100 games coming out available for PSVR 2 in the launch window, and that has to be clarified of launch window, not on release, but launch window. So there'll be like maybe a 6 months period or something like that, where all these almost 100 games will come out. Then moving on from Sony and going into Microsoft territory, it has been confirmed that Redfall will have an online always requirement, and this has triggered debate online. Now, for the mouth-breathing basement dwellers out there who are incapable of thinking an inch beyond their 2-inch microphone, here's why internet always for a single-player game is stupid. Firstly, not everyone has constant internet access. Uncapped internet, good online speed, or possibly even the option/access to competent or semi-reliable internet. Saying it's 2023 isn't a fix. People can be traveling, living in remote areas or less developed countries, or have financial limitations, be limited in available internet options in their region, have outages, have unreliable internet providers, or so on and so forth. The challenges or problems are limitless. If you had a thinking capacity that's stronger than a 2-year-old, you'd be able to see this for yourself. Saying it's 2023 is as stupid as Microsoft's former president of interactive entertainment businesses, Don Matrix's infamous response to buy an Xbox 360 instead of an Xbox One if you don't have internet back in 2013. And secondly, when servers inevitably get shut down in the future, that will spell the death of a game. You can't just pick up the thing and continue playing it. This is an understandable cost for multiplayer games because you need the servers to play online and interact with remote friends. But why should it affect single players? There's no reason for it to be there for single players. And lastly, for those who think this is a console fanboy flaming thing, Gran Turismo 7 was also dragged for the same reason, and it too is effing stupid for having an online always requirement for a single player game. Personally, this has made me consider that the game may have some irritating microtransactions, the same way GT7 has got some stupid ass microtransactions with it. But it's one of those things that we'll see. Me, when Redfall was first announced, it looked interesting. The more we started seeing about Redfall, the less I got interested in it. And now with this internet always thing, that's the nail in the coffin for me, where I'm like, nah, fuck Redfall. That's it for the gaming part from my side. Guys, do you have any gaming news that you want to share that I may have not gone over?
Nah, not that I can think of. Kojo?
Nothing that I can think of now.
All right. So is that all the gaming news, bro? That was juicy. Damn.
Oh yeah, no, that's it for the big detailed gaming news, but I still have a little more for the gaming blitz section.
Okay. Oh yeah. Alright, moving over to the gaming corner. Kojo, tell us what's good, bro.
Okay, gaming corner. Let's start with the releases for the week. and there were quite a few of them. We've got some of them were re-releases on newer platforms. So, like for example, we've got Power Wash Simulator, which came out already last year, but it's now out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and the Switch. We've got Trek to Yomi, which already came out, but it's now on the Switch. And then we've got Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition for the Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One. And we've got a new game called Season: A Letter to the Future, which is one that people should take. It intrigued me last year, so people should keep an eye out for this one. It's out on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC. We've got another new game, SpongeBob SquarePants. It's like an indie third-person, sort of in the same vein of, how do I explain? It's sort of, you play as this character and you sort of explore this world and try to figure out something.
All right, no, I think I have an idea.
Yeah, it's hold on.
Basically, it's there isn't action or anything like that. There isn't any kind of stress or pressure on you as a player. You can freely roam without worrying about external stuff. Kind of like, like how you have like a walking simulator where you can explore the environment at your own leisure and things like that.
Yes, but this time you're on a bicycle. You have a bicycle, so that's pretty cool. So you play as this young lady named Estelle, and then you leave your home for the first time, and you're trying to create a record of the world for the next generation before a cataclysm wipes everything away. So that is a very interesting premise, and people should keep an eye out on that. It's already out. So yeah. Next game, SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC. We've got another game which was already out on PC, but it's now out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, and it's called We Were Here Forever. And this one I know. This one is a co-op only game that you play with a friend, and it's designed for co-op only, where the puzzles you come across is a puzzle game through and through. And the puzzles are so unique. I saw 2 streamers, XQC and Moist Critical, play it last year. It is so dope. It is such a dope game. And it's definitely one that I would love to play.
Can you play alone, or you have to play with a partner?
You have to play with someone. It's a co-op only game. It's like It Takes Two. It's made for co-op, designed for co-op. There is no AI partner. Because
can you have couch co-op on it, or is online co-op?
For consoles, I'm not too sure. But for PC, obviously, it's online. So, to answer your question, Maxwell, no, unfortunately, local co-op is not supported. But I have a response to that. It's 2023.
Oh, you're funny. Yes, funny.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I definitely could not resist that one. So, yeah, it is definitely one that if you want to play with your friends, you should definitely take a look at it. It's the puzzles will, make you think. We've got another game called Football Manager 2023. It's now out on PlayStation 5. We've got a game called Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Then we've got a game called Deliver Us Mars, which caught my interest last year. It's a space game. It's based on the name Deliver Us Mars. And it's a sequel to a game called Deliver Us the Moon, where you sort of explore Mars and you try and figure out, I believe, it's sort of like a survival, not really horror, but sort of like a survival exploration game, from what I can gather. And then you've got Life is Strange 2, which is an old game, but it's now on the Nintendo Switch. You've got a game called Tales: The Backbone Preludes on PC. And finally, The Pathless. Now, people remember The Pathless. It came out on PlayStation 4 a while ago. And PlayStation 5. Yeah, on PlayStation 4 a while ago. But now it's on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Switch. So that is it for the gaming releases of the week. Now, let's move on to... Now, it was brought to my attention a demo called Final Fantasy Theat Rhythm Final Bar. And basically, it's a rhythm game set in the Final Fantasy universe. And yeah, it's a rhythm game. I downloaded the game, I gave it the demo, I gave it a look. And I'm not going to lie, as far as rhythm games go, it is one of the more interesting ones. It's sort of like you get to pick, I think from Final Fantasy to Final Fantasy 11, you get to pick which soundtrack you want to play on. So you pick one, and then it's different stages, and then each stage is set to a specific soundtrack, and then you sort of like, depending on the rhythm, like you have to, match the rhythm to defeat enemies and stuff like that. If you miss a rhythm, you lose health, things like that. And then it's very interesting. It's very intriguing, and you can have it's actually very layered. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, it's a full priced game. It's expensive, but if it's something that interests you, if it's something that you want to experience, I know that everybody knows Final Fantasy has brilliant music. I personally have never played the games, but even I know, just playing the demo, I'm like, yo, the music slaps. So if you love the music of Final Fantasy, I think this is a game for you. Otherwise, if you're not really into Final Fantasy, I think you can skip this one. And also, if you're not a rhythm game person, then yeah, definitely. Next news is a game. It's a game that came out and I think people forgot about, and it's news that Maxwell doesn't want to talk about for no reason whatsoever. So it's up to me to tell you about it. So I'm going to. So now, there's this game called Back 4 Blood, and it came out. Actually, no, a bit of backstory. It was made by a studio called Turtle Rock Studios, who were formed from the bones of ex-Valve employees. And this game was marketed as, it's the game that was made by developers of Left 4 Dead. And people remember Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 are beloved games, considered classics. Zombie games, everybody loves them. And Turtle Rock, coming off of their previous game, which was called Evolve, which people remember Evolve, there was hype behind it. It came out and it flopped hard. The population just dipped. Yeah, it was bad. The population just dipped hard. The monetization was bad. People just dipped, and then they ceased, development on it and content updates. So this game, Back 4 Blood, was another in the same vein as Left 4 Dead. I mean, even the name Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a game that people were looking forward to because, again, it was marketed as from the developers of Left 4 Dead. So people were really hyped for it. And then it came out and then it fell flat. People were comparing it unfavorably to Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, which came out over a decade before. The people were making videos comparing how the enemy AI of Back 4 Blood and the companion AI were brain dead and dumb. Whereas on Left 4 Dead, they were nuanced. If you shot certain parts of the body, the parts of the body would fall off, they would stagger and fall. Whereas with Back 4 Blood, you shoot the leg and the zombie just falls down or something like that. And it's a shame because a lot of people were looking forward to this game, but unfortunately it fell flat. And now Turtle Rock have said that, you know what, we're ceasing development on the game, no more content updates. And they said the reason for this is because they're moving on to their next game. But I think the main reason is because the game is a flop and nobody's playing it, and there's no point in working on a dead game. So that's my conspiracy theory. So guys, remember last week I spoke about a game called The Day Before?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see if I can just get through this real quick. If not, we can do it in the discussion period. But basically, they released a 10-minute gameplay. Like yesterday, they were like, out of nowhere, they're like, okay, guys, we got you. Here's your gameplay footage that we were supposed to get a long time ago. Like, here's your uncut 10-minute gameplay footage. And everybody was like, yeah, we got it. And last night, I even tried calling Max to tell him, like, yeah, you see, Max, in your face, we got footage, man. This game is real. So I sat down and I watched this 10-minute thing. And then I watched it again. And I watched it again. This thing is the most boring gameplay I have ever seen in my life. Watching grass grow was more interesting than this. This was literally, if you take, yeah, Max?
No, I was just going to say, I agree, because I was going to say, my interpretation of it was so ass. And it's like the most entertaining part about this was going down in the comment section and speaking of ass.
Exactly. That is exactly what I wanted to point out. I wanted to point out, look, the most interesting part is, I don't want to be crass here, but the first 3 seconds of this footage, something caught my eye and it did not let go. The whole gameplay footage. You were playing as this girl. It was showing this girl running around. Reminds me a lot of Ellie with her backpack from Last of Us. But anyway, she is. Tell me, when I say she is caked up to the max.
Oh shit! Okay.
She is so caked up that I was like, bruh.
I wish we could have grabbed some of the best comments from that, but I guess we can put it up on the screen for YouTube, where each of those comments can go up and flash on the screen. Like, dude, the comment section is always unrivaled.
Yeah, that was funny. But stepping away from her cake, the gameplay itself was boring. It was boring. The game somehow looked worse than the footage they released before, that highly curated footage that they released before. It just looks lackluster.
Yeah.
Like the world looks empty. It's like, yeah.
I want to make a comment about that footage where when I saw that, I thought one of two things is happening here. Either this is some very, very early version where they're like, okay, what do we have in stock? Hey, we've got this. Yeah, it's far behind from where we were, but at least it's something to give them, kind of like what Sonic Frontiers did, Sega did, where they showed an early build version and people were like, man, this looks so janky. But then when people got to play the demo or in those shows, they got to see, okay, what we were shown was an early build, but what is available right now is so much further ahead. Maybe it's that, or on the other side of a coin, it's a thing of, oh crap, we don't have anything to show. Let's just build something so we can show them something.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It was like, I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, if you take the boring parts of The Last of Us where you just press triangle to loot things, and you take the most boring part of The Division where you just walk around, and you put those two together, that is exactly what this game looks like. Like, it just looks so boring. Like, even when you're shooting zombies, and someone made a point, I was like, look, the game doesn't need to be like, the universe doesn't need to be alive with NPCs or whatever, because it's a zombie apocalypse. But if you take something like The Division, which is also a post-apocalyptic, type of society has fallen type of thing, the world is more alive. Whereas this, it just isn't. And again, so more people are looking at this like Max said, just do something together. It's like, is this really a real thing? And what's funny is that they released a 40-second video on their channel showing a guy playing it. But this time he was playing as a guy. So he was playing as a different, but it was to show that, hey, this is a real game. Look, there's a guy playing it.
That's so sad, dog.
Dude.
Yeah, it really is sad. It reeks of desperation.
Dude, that was the funniest thing.
Normally, with such situations, you would have a thing of, look, you might not believe us, but trust the process. You'll be rewarded when it comes out. But then when you see people double trying to argue back, like, no, this is definite, that's when it's like red flags are starting to emerge.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, so that's it for the day before for now. We'll see what happens later. And yeah, that's pretty much it from the gaming corner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks, bro. All right, peeps, check it. We hope you're having a great time listening to the show. Just a quick reminder to like, subscribe, and follow so that we can get this show to more people. Once again, I'm Thamziri, and with me are Kid Kojo and Max. All right. So moving on to Twitch YouTuber news. Okay, so for those of you who have not kept up, let me dish y'all some nice spice. So y'all know what deepfakes are, right? It's basically AI generated art where they will basically use the face and facial talent, or even sometimes the bodily talent of other women, and paste them onto actual like in like sexual / pornographic imagery and even videos, right? Because obviously it'll have like one woman from mass some shit. Can I say that? I don't know. Fapping, flicking beans, all that shit, rubbing the shit. Analog, I don't know. Nope. But and it'll have the face of a celeb very well like melded on to the body. So deepfakes have been going on for as long as I can remember. So to give you guys some spice and not to go fully into it, again, links will be provided. But like, so where it all started was there was a streamer called Atriarch, right? Now Atriarch was at first he was trying to point out how the deepfake technology, was kind of bad. And then on a stream one day, it actually showed that he had the deepfakes open on his PC. One is already a bannable offense, but it's also to the same breath whereby it broke Twitch TOS, but that's not even the problem here. The problem is on this deepfake site, there were a lot of people that were his friends, people he's worked with, and many other content creators that he respects, you know, and everything. So they were on there as well. The likes of Cutie Cinderella, the likes of Pokimane, Sweet Anita, the list goes on. Okay, a lot of female YouTube and Twitch content creators were on this deepfake site. What was shocking, of course, to most people was that it showed that he was actually subscribed to the site. So the same site where you as a person, you as a dude with your female friends, you know, colleagues, peers, all that on a site, you actually actively paying for it. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, guys, H-Rock was married, bro. So obviously once the drama went about and it was clipped, it was shared and everything, right? A lot of conversation started to spark. We started seeing tweets from Pokimane saying deepfake technology or using someone's face is not okay. We had Cutie Cinderella saying some stuff. We had Sweet Anita, even the likes of Emeru, and again, list goes on. A lot of women had a lot to say, most of which found themselves on said site, right? So in one way, Atriarch did well by pointing out the site and how hectic it is. But at the same way, it's just like, okay, but dude, why do you have a subscription? And again, guys, he has a wife, dog. So man's beating meat, you know, in his own spare time, everything, married, all this, to people he has seen in person and walked around with and all this, knowing damn well that's not actually what they're doing. They didn't actually make that content. They stole their identity and put it in a sexual like site, right? So the likes of Cutie Cinderella obviously found out about all of this, and she made a series of videos, and even on her live stream whereby she's crying, she's sad. To those of you who don't know who Cutie Cinderella is, she's Ludwig, previous episode if you remember, Mogul Male host Ludwig. They're dating, the two of them, right? So obviously it's in the same sense that Ludwig is friends with H-Rock, close even, but it's one of those where Ludwig himself, you know, once reacting and realizing this, said that, I mean, in a way he had to be a boyfriend first before friend. So Cutie Cinderella was like cussing everybody else, like, yo, F you Atriarch for even contributing to the site, this and this. You can really tell that a bond between them was completely broken, right? And then it's also to say that some of the other streamers reacted to it, and like some even had the whole thing of like, oh, men will be men. If they had an opportunity to see you in a sexually expressive way, they would clearly pay for it, right? So this obviously sparked a whole lot of drama whereby Cutie Cinderella was going to pay $500,000 to sue the creator of the site, to which the site right now is no longer. It's been deleted, and the creator put out a tweet longer on Twitter basically stating and admitting that, you know, he was a piece of shit. He realized a bit too late how much damage this could have caused. He wanted to make a quick buck. The site first started off, you know, by deep faking animated characters, and then it turned into this. And yeah, he cannot even express how sad he is and everything. But Cutie Cinderella and a lot of other content creators are still pushing to sue the absolute shit out of him. So yeah, that dude is going down, son, like hella going down. So then Ludwig put out a video basically, you know, stating to Atriarch, because Atriarch did a whole apology video, and I was like, look, okay, right now in this present time, it kind of sucks that he has to see his own friend, you know, could you say it's emotionally cheating if you're watching of other people? That's not even other people. I don't know, but you know, he's lost respect in the sense that H-Rock did something like that whilst having a wife, as well as the fact that he didn't whistleblow or raise it to the fact that his peers, his friends, and everyone were on that site. He just kept quiet until he was exposed on stream. So my thing to bring all to this, I know we try to keep it in like, you know, gaming wise and everything, but just as opposed to like you guys listening, as well as you, Kojo Max, you know, obviously in SA, in South Africa, the scene is not so huge that we are at risk of this happening. But it's also to say, how would you guys feel about the whole deepfake technology? Because I've even seen the likes of Elon Musk comment how dangerous this thing is. Many other celebs don't like that deepfakes exist. I think the one person who really hated it was Gal Gadot, where she was like, yeah, no, I don't like the fact that, you know, I appear in so many other things. The funniest was like, they don't even get my breasts the correct size. That was funny. But yeah, she had a point. But like, it's interesting to me as to how far we want to go with in terms of like technology, right? Because if you go into like the likes of VR games, I don't know if y'all have even seen on Steam, right? There are actual games where you can pretty much virtual reality, like touch and feel your favorite stars and everything. Some are not actually deepfake, some are just dead ass real like VR games, right? Whereas you get others where it's just like, okay, that's clearly not the celebrity. Because I mean, the ones that are actual ones, those are stars and they made it themselves, you know, they got involved. But these ones where like celebs are now represented in a game that you get to like smash, I don't know, Giselle Bundchen. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like messed up with how far technology can go, especially in the gaming scene. And yeah, how do y'all feel about deepfakes?
I don't want to spend too much on this, but I am probably in the minority here and in the unpopular camp of things. But personally, I don't think it's a big deal. Personally, I think too much attention is being given to it. Now, with that said, right, because I had a back and forth with Kojo about this, and I even watched a Moist Critical give his take on it. Now, there's two things I want to clarify with this, because I think this whole thing has been blown out of proportion with these influencers and streamers and how they're reacting and stuff like that. And the reason why I'm saying it's been blown out of proportion is because on a personal level, on the microcosm, right, personal relationships, people involved in stuff like that, I think it's a shit show. 100% everything that's the fallout and all of that's happening is justified, because like you were saying, like, it's you're watching these videos, you're married, you're watching these videos of your friends and stuff like that. That's creepy, hella awkward and all of that stuff. So the negatives of deepfakes and all of that stuff, I'm not going to debate on. But looking at the macrocosm is where now I feel like we invite gray areas. So on Moist Critical's video, he was talking about how these things can lead to fraud, how these things can lead to bullying, how these things can be used like at a school or something, people putting out these pictures of you and claiming it is you when it's not really you. But I'm like, really? Like, in terms of fraud, I see the potential and the damage that can come in. Like fraud, like in deepfakes of like, you know, these things were discussed, like there's a deepfake video of what if you have a president making a speech which is a completely fake speech. On a political sphere, those things are dangerous and stuff like that. But so deepfake and where AI technology is going, I think that is dangerous. But sticking to, or when it comes to this realm, I think people are blowing it out of proportion. And the reason why I say that is because, okay, so you find before this ever existed, or before you ever knew about this, you were living your life blissfully unaware. And then going forward, after you've taken down this site, what has changed? There's still 100 other sites doing this exact same thing. Are you going to go from site to site telling all of them, take it down, this isn't appropriate? No, you're not. So my issue is the status quo has not changed. If this was like the first deep fake that ever existed of adult material, I'll be like, damn, this is a game changer, because going down the line, what are we going to be seeing? But we're in we're smack dab in the middle of it. So the status quo has not changed. If suddenly tomorrow, all of these things were being banned and we were being struck down by government laws, country laws and stuff like that, I'd be like, okay, you know what? Something good has come out of this. But with nothing changing, I think people are blowing it out of proportion, having a conversation about it, because it's like, we're really not doing anything to move the conversation forward, just having back and forths and nothing is being achieved out of it. The whole thing of boys will be boys, like, it's creepy, it's disgusting, and I think it's very disturbing, but people are still going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Guys are going to be jerking the chicken, girls are going to be flicking the bean, and whatever else. So that's why I'm like, in the bigger picture, I'm very indifferent about it. In the smaller picture, in the personal relationships, it is very damaging, because now going forward, how do you move forward with these people? You can't anymore. And so on a personal perspective, I can understand somebody feeling a type of way. But then on a bigger perspective, strangers have been doing all of these things before. And as well, it's fake. Like, I forgot who it was. I think it might have been QTC Cinderella who said that is giving her body dysmorphia, and I'm like, but how? Because I'm not trying to be a dick here, and I'm going to come across as a dick, but I'm trying to understand, how is this giving you body dysmorphia? Because those are not your proportions. Nobody knows what you look like. And it might, Kojo gave the argument, I believe, of, okay, but then now you're being given like bigger breasts than you actually have. And maybe you're looking at your own breasts saying, my breasts are not good enough. People are going to, when people fantasize about me, they want me to have bigger breasts and stuff like that. But I'm like, again, you are living your life happily ignorant, and now this has been brought to your attention. All of a sudden, it's wrecking your world and changing everything. I don't think it's that deep. Again, in the personal sphere, 100% it's deep. But in the bigger sphere, strangers are going to be strangers. Strangers are going to be doing things you're never going to agree with. Strangers are going to be doing whatever they can to get off. If you are slowing down to worry about every single stranger that you don't even know, then maybe the problem is with you. Because this thing is bigger than you. This thing is bigger than us. This thing is bigger than everyone. You can't control it. It's a beast that cannot be tamed unless government laws, country laws come in and start taming it. But until that happens, you are going to be losing sleep over something you have no control over. And is that really worth it? Why do that to your own mental?
Okay.
So that's my stance on it. So again, I say, at the personal level, I can understand all the ramifications going on, and I think it's deserved. But on the bigger level, talking about all of these things of, oh my goodness, it wrecks my worldview. Like, yeah, you lose me there.
All right.
Because again, it's not like like the fappening was a bigger deal than this, because the fappening was actual people's personal pictures getting taken up and people being, now you know how this celebrity looks or what this celebrity does in their private time. A deepfake is some random creep's imagination of you. Guess what? Rule 34 exists. Have you been crying about Rule 34? No, you haven't. You've been living your life because you know it's stupid and you can't do anything about that. How different are deepfakes? How different is it?
That's a good question.
So that's why, again, I go back to the status quo has not changed. And because the status quo has not changed, I couldn't care less. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. If some ramifications came out of this where going forward, things were beginning to be different, I'll be like, now this is worth focusing on, trying to understand, piecing together, and trying to learn how we can move forward. But because nothing's going to change, one side has been taken down, well, guess what? It's like a hydra. You take one head down, more pop up.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that, bro. Kojo?
Yeah, not much to add. I don't really have an opinion on this one. I just think focusing more on the Atrix situation, I just think it's weird and bizarre. It's so, like, the more I think, I've been thinking about this a lot, and the more I think about it, the more bizarre and weird it gets to me. Like, my nigga, not only did you, like, it's one thing if you, because he said he was scrolling Pornhub and he saw a link and he clicked it, cool. It's one thing if you click the link and then it popped up, but it's another thing to actively pay for it.
Like, maybe he was paying for it to prove a point, or I don't know.
Maybe. Like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here, because H-Yuck is someone I recently discovered before this whole situation, and I actually like his content, and he actually is a fun guy, upbeat guy, funny guy, very knowledgeable,
Yeah.
But anyway, I just think it's, without dragging this on too long, it's bizarre and weird.
Yeah, okay. Well, on a lighter note with the gaming and, with the content creator news, Emiru from OTK becomes co-owner of the organization itself. So a lot of new changes are coming. And already she has started to make huge strides in how OTK videos themselves are to be portrayed, which is, it's actually giving more essence to the videos that they usually put out. So, yeah. And then OTK also welcomes Emily, another person, into the organization. And I think for a while now, this is actually the most women they've had under OTK. So shit's changing.
Yep.
All right, and then moving on to esports news. Now, okay, for me, I don't have much to say on esports today. But what I can say with regards to esports is, Bolo, who played for TSM Rainbow Six Siege team, has retired from competitive Siege after 7 years. He came into TSM, which is Team Solo Mid, when he was just 18, a prodigy, you know, all this. And now that he's 25, he's finally retired. Well, not finally, but I mean, it has been something he's been talking about for quite some time. And his reasons behind it was that the game sense in terms of Rainbow Six Siege just doesn't change. They still have a huge problem with cheaters and hackers, as well as the fact that there's only so much you can do on a game that doesn't release content, you know, that much, like new content, right? By now, if you guys don't know Bolo, that's Beaulo. A lot of his gameplay, he knows every single map, back to back, heart to heart, detail for detail. And that's just essentially what contributes to him being a pro. It's also in the sense that his shots, his aim, everything is just insane. So it's very interesting to see where he's going to go from here. As of now, he's not a free agent. He did say that he's just going to take some time to just enjoy content creation, you know, doing exactly what he wants to do when he wants to do it. And yeah, he'll eventually see if he'll get back into esports. But I think with the success that he's had in the past 7 years, yeah, man can basically just retire. Must be nice. But yeah, that's my esports news. Moving on to Kojo.
All right. Yeah, I don't have really much to say except when it comes to everybody's favorite game, especially Tommy's favorite game, Apex Legends.
Hey.
Well, yeah. So the Apex Legends Global Series Split 1 playoffs began on Thursday, the 2nd of February. Basically what it is, it's Apex Legends has, you know, their own esports, and then they have the preseason and the regular season, then the playoffs, and you know, it's without getting too bogged down into details. Right now we're in the Split 1 playoffs. It just started on the 2nd of February. And 2nd of February, 3rd of February, Thursday, Friday, those were the group stage matches. And now today, which is the 4th of February, is going to be the bracket stage. So the top 20 teams from the group stages are in the winners brackets. Bottom 20 teams are in the losers brackets. And also they're like there are 40 teams. Each team is from different regions of the world. Europe, North America, South America, EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East, and Africa, APAC North, and APAC South. APAC North is Asia Pacific, APAC South is APAC Pacific South. So APAC South is like your Australia and your New Zealand and things like that, I believe. And APAC North is your Korea and your Japan and stuff like that. So today is the bracket stage, and tomorrow will be the grand final, will be the finals. And I've been keeping my eye on it pretty much Thursday, and then yesterday, Friday, I was watching it all day Friday. And it's interesting stuff, guys. It's interesting stuff to watch, you know, a game you play it on a professional level. Tommy, I mean, you do it all the time with League and Siege and
of course
stuff like that. Yeah, it's very interesting stuff. And then it makes you look back at your gameplay and you realize that you ain't anything.
Yeah, we ain't shit.
You did, exactly. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what's been going on. I'll be keeping my eye on next week. It'll end on Sunday, and next week I'll report back and tell you who won and the places and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, and then obviously this isn't like a gaming related thing, but another huge sport that is happening next weekend on Feb 12th, of course, for those South Africans, it'll be later into Monday morning, is the Super Bowl. Hey, get your chicken wings, get your turkey legs, get your ribs, you know, get the braai ready, get all that shit if you're into NFL. My girlfriend is, and I'm still trying to get her to start playing Madden NFL. Because I mean, shit, if you like watching the sport, why not just play it on a PlayStation? Because you can't really play it real life. I mean, shit, we don't really have the gear for that. I don't know, because yeah, we rugby players, bro. Shit. All right, moving on to yeah. Okay, let's go.
I actually have esport news. Shockingly,
bring it.
So, the Halo Infinite Honda Fan Cup has started. It will run from January 28th to March 5th, and basically, I don't know too much about it, but what I understand is that it's a 1v1 Halo Infinite tournament with $20,000 in prizes, where there are stages across the thing. You basically, there's a website you have to go to, blah blah blah. I don't know too much of the details, but basically, what was I gonna say? I lost track of what I was gonna say.
Because it's Halo and no one knows about it. That's why. Okay.
No, there's not really much to say about it, but basically that Halo Infinite, Honda Fan Cup. Oh yes, that's now I remember what I was gonna say. It is for people who are located in Canada, the US, and Mexico. If you're a resident of one of those countries, then you are eligible to win $20,000 worth of prizes and cash money. And it's a one-on-one battle where you go through group stages until you're all the way to the final and have also a one-on-one there. So if you back yourself in your Halo Infinite skill, or you haven't been on Halo Infinite for a while and you wanted a reason to dip back, well, here's a good enough reason. There's money. And there's always weekly tournaments until 5th of March. Yeah, that's all. Shockingly, I had an esport news.
It's the first time for everything. Well, thanks, bro. All right, now moving on to the juice, the discussions. Okay, I don't have much to discuss, so I'll let you gents start off. But there is one point I want to touch on, but yeah, it'll be short and sweet. But you guys can get started. Max, hit us up with some discussion news, dog.
Well, I also don't have really much to discuss about this week. There were a few things on my mind, but then they sort of, like, all I want to discuss are kind of like controversies and debates that keep going on Twitter and stuff like that. But there's always something new taking over and making me forget the last thing. Like, I remember vividly that there was one thing I wanted to talk about. Don't remember it at all. So I'm going to default back to basics and just talk about Hogwarts Legacy, where it's coming up. And Tommy, you are going to be taking Hogwarts Legacy duty for us. I want to play the game, but I'm not going to be able to play it anytime soon. So for the people out there who are enjoying this, you'll be able to watch Tommy play the game and see his first time reaction as he plays through. Tommy, you're a big Harry Potter fan, right or wrong?
Absolutely, dog. Well, look, this whole J.K. Rowling thing, I don't care for. I enjoy what she's made. I don't care for.
You're able to separate creator from content.
Exactly.
So
but I'm a huge fan,
when I played the game,
I
was just gonna say, when I played a game, because you can choose your houses, right? I recall.
No, you get sorted.
Yeah,
but then you can just start a new character again and then get sorted into a different house.
Yeah, for me, I'm defaulting to either Ravenclaw or Slytherin.
Okay. Now, are you doing this for story reason, or are you doing this because you actually did the Pottermore quiz and you know your house?
Oh no, the Pottermore quiz, I did it years ago, and I was Gryffindor, and I just find Gryffindor so basic.
What?
You? Yes,
Gryffindor. No ways. I would never have pictured you as a Gryffindor. Oh my god! You see, look, the same way that people are into horoscopes, I'm into this Pottermore shit, bro. I'm the type to be like, you're giving me Ravenclaw vibes. You know, I'm that type of person. Me, I'm a Hufflepuff. Proud.
Yeah, you see, I like what Ravenclaw is all about. In terms of value, I do align myself with Gryffindor. In terms of what the house is all about, I align with Ravenclaw. So I would say I'm kind of like a Hermione per se, where I could easily fit in one of the two. But in terms of like just personal preference type of going against the grain, that's why I like Slytherin. And then Hufflepuff I just find boring. Okay,
well, ouch, but watch my fucking common room is gonna look amazing. Oh, I can't wait to jam this thing. It's already downloaded, so my roommate said he's first, but yeah, I'll play probably either tonight or tomorrow and start getting the content to you guys.
All right, no problem. Looking forward to that.
Oh yeah. Kojo, anything to discuss, Holmes?
Honestly, nothing. I think we discussed everything. We discussed the deepfakes. We discussed all of that's pretty much everything I think of. What about you?
The deepfakes. I just want to put out a disclaimer there because I know people are thinking I'm a dick with all my take. And I just want to say that, look, again, when it comes to the personal matters, I wholly sympathize and empathize with everybody involved. It's just when we step away from the personal where I'm like, no, you have to draw a line. And that's where I come in as a villain role, where I think personally I'm able to remove myself from a situation. And I understand other people aren't built like me. I'm built different. So it's fine. I got that Sigma male energy. It's cool.
For my discussion, like I said, it's going to be short and sweet. It's something that I don't know which one of you guys brought it up, but a game that's coming out and they already started showing the battle pass for the game. As of late, anytime I hear about a new game coming out and then it has a battle pass, I'm already not going to play that game. And the reason is because there was a beautiful time once where you could just play a game and after a certain amount of achievements or challenges, you know, you will get a skin, you will get a cool gun, you'll get a cool, I don't know, something, you know what I'm saying? But nowadays, with already a game that is rumored to be coming out, everyone already knows it has a battle pass already. What that says to me on the whole topic of microtransactions is already the moment someone buys that game for the first time, the first thing they're going to do is drop money on that game, like from the very beginning. And it's just like, dude, you haven't earned anything. You haven't, like, you barely even probably know the map or the controls or the game itself. And here you are just looking, you know, fancy as shit. Don't even get me started whereby on a battle pass, you're some battle passes in some games, you're actually able to unlock a certain character if you get the battle pass. One game I can point out that does this is Rogue Company, which is some bullshit. Because the issue that I have with that, right? Again, it's why I say it's gonna immediately put me off a game before I even play it myself, is because I don't want to hop into the game and then some rich oak just, you know, who probably sucks ass at the game, put money behind it and is already starting to use fancy shit. Because the thing is, right, we can go into like even a longer discussion, but I won't, is to say that some skins in some games, skins being the costume that your character plays, for those of you who don't know, some skins in some games meld so well into like a map whereby some people can actually look very fucking camouflage and invisible with some of the skins that they wear. Right, and to know that, okay, I'm gonna get into a game and someone just put dollars on that and is invisible the entire time, and I'm always getting killed by this person who just dropped money, pisses me off. Like, who the max? And I know some of y'all are like, oh, dude, you just broke. Oh, get money, dude. Oh my god. Oh, still, shut up, bro. Like,
Yeah,
because
I was about to say, Kojo, do you want to say it or should I say it?
You say it.
It's 2023, man. Get with the
yeah,
time.
fucking hell. Because like it's just,
I hate that argument. It's this dumbest, laziest argument
legit,
ever.
bro. Because I just don't understand. Like, look, I understand if like Fortnite, for example, their battle pass is purely just aesthetics. It is purely just that. Whereby some games where they start offering, like, for example, what's that game that everyone teased about? Was it a new Far Cry or new something? And you could already see that there's a battle pass for it. I can't remember what that game is. Yes, that. You see what I'm saying? Like, already that game, bruh, it's so fresh and there's already a battle pass and that shit looks like PUBG. I looked at
which game is this?
Kill the Justice League.
That one.
Like, yeah, I looked at the game and I was just like, dog, one, this looks like a lot of PUBG. All right. Two, this game just came out and there's already a battle pass. It's the same way that, like, with Rainbow Six Siege, love the game, don't get me wrong, but the mere fact that guys can literally hop into the game and buy every single operator, like every single character, for just like a few bucks, and they've got them. Because some characters are honestly play to win. I'm telling you now, some characters in Rainbow Six Siege, if you just play them, you'll get to like champion rank easy. And the fact that you can buy that from the jump. Yeah.
Kojo, you remember when we were browsing Dead or Alive and looking at all the microtransactions on it?
Yep.
Yeah, where there's like some ridiculous. I don't play Dead or Alive, so I think these were just skins. But the dollar prices for these skins, where you're just basically having a female player in a bikini and people were paying for that, was just like, whoa, man. Like, we find value in different things. Because I would look at that as like, yeah, if it was a skin I had to grind to get, yeah, I would put in the time. But to pay money just for a digital visual, nah, dog, I ain't like that. I ain't built like that. I'm not going to go for that. And what I find is that I think the problem is like you'll say there's Fortnite, there's Apex, and a few other games where they do microtransactions arguably tastefully. I would say the difference is that nowadays I think companies are pumping in so much money into their games that they want a return on investment as soon as possible. They're not willing to go for the long haul, because I think part of it is they don't really believe in the game. So they just want to make their money as soon as possible, as opposed to saying, we know we pumped in X millions of dollars in this game, and we are very confident in our product that we are willing to wait 2-3 years to get back money on this game. Instead, it's like, now, once we put it out there, we need to make a return on investment within 6 months in this same fiscal year. And I think that's where the problem is, and that's where you get games which are launched half-baked and all of that stuff coming out uncooked, and gamers having to wait and sit down. And also that part of gamers having to wait, I find that very ironic, that gamers love instant gratification. The minute they can't get instant gratification, they switch up. Yet, for some weird ass reason, when it comes to live service games, when those games come out half-baked, whether it's your Fallout 76, whether it's your Marvel's Avengers, whether it's your what's that game that managed to make a turnaround? I keep forgetting the title, the one that is in space.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, yeah.
No Man's Sky, that's the one. Whether it's that, people seem to be willing to wait for the game to improve. And that's the part I don't understand, where it's like, when it comes to the other aspects of gaming, where you shouldn't be instant gratification, where you should be understandable about the development process and be patient, you don't want to be patient. But when it comes to live service, where they're just trying to rip off money from you, that's the area where you're like, nah, I'm going to let them cook. That, to me, boggles my mind.
So you see, one more thing that I gotta say on this point, and you're definitely right, Max, in that sense, because it's another thing that I also hate. But the one thing that I also kind of despise, and now this is touching into mobile gacha games, right? I guess we can even put Genshin Impact all up in there. Now, games where it doesn't really matter if you bought a character that is hella strong, because it's not really fully PvP-esque. You know, it's not really it's not based around player versus player. But it's to say that, okay, there's a certain, now if anyone has played Epic 7, right, you will know that there are certain characters that you need to compile a team that will counter whatever your enemy is. So whether your enemy is like purely earth heroes, you need a fire hero. If it's, you know, water hero, you're going to need an earth hero, you know, this and this and such and such. But when it comes to certain moments whereby one character is so rare, and here's the beauty about these South Korean games, is that they will actually give you the percentage of your chance to like get this character. They'll be like, yeah, no, you have a 0.0001 chance of getting this character. But for 8,000 Rand, you know, which is like almost like what, $60? $600, you can just get this character straight up. It's like, dude, no, what the fuck is that, bro? That's bullshit. That's just hella trash, because now you're telling me that if I drop money, you're going to change my drop chance of getting that character from 0.0001 to 100% just for cash. Flipping money hungry, dude. And I don't appreciate that. Like, yeah. So again, lastly, it is just, I hate battle passes. I absolutely hate them. Fortnite is the only one that I think did battle passes correctly, whereby you could still play the game for free and pretty much get V-Bucks. And then you can just pretty much prove that you play the game, you grinded, because you can now afford the battle pass having just played the game and not do a single transaction on your credit card. So every other game just needs to honestly learn from Fortnite, because what the hell, dude? But yeah, that's just my take on the thing. All right, moving on to the news blitz. Max, hit us up, dog.
All right then, so there's quite a bit to cover, but let's see if we can speed through all of this. So as you may know, there's been a Horizon multiplayer game in development where it was leaked about that. Well, concept art and dev footage from 2020 leaked for that game, and it's available on Reddit for you to check out. The art style is not to my taste, but let's see what comes out of it. And keep in mind, this is from 2020, so a lot of change may have happened since. Then next, we have Amazon is reportedly working on a Tomb Raider TV series, a movie, and a tie-in game to create the Tomb Raider universe after Embracer Group sold the IP to them for $600 million. Then there was a Halo Infinite survey floating about where gamers were being asked about their experience with the game. Specifically, they were being asked about the multiplayer experience. And with the changes coming to Halo and 343 Industries, this is no surprise. Then we had a slew of gaming-related announcements, starting with Star Wars Jedi Survivor has been delayed to April 28, 2023. Rumbleverse closes on February 28, 2023. Knockout City servers will shut down on June 6, 2023. Apex Legends Mobile is shutting down on May 1st, 2023. And also Battlefield Mobile has been shut down. And along with those two, EA quietly shut down a title set in the Apex/Titanfall universe. Then moving away from servers shutting down, we have reportedly the coalition has started works on Gears 6. And as they started this, they had two internal projects cancelled, which were unrelated to Gears. And I find that very unfortunate because I hate this thing about studios like your 343 Industries or your coalition where they are just created to take care of one IP. I would love it if studios were allowed, developers were allowed to have a foster of different IPs under them. So I think Microsoft canceling the two unnamed projects is BS, but what can you do? And lastly, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft are all skipping out on E3 this year. Don't expect to see them when it comes up. And I find that quite interesting. I'm not surprised about Sony and Nintendo. I'm slightly surprised about Microsoft because they've always been sticking with E3. But given the current condition and how things are moving on, where having your own personal showcase or direct seems to be the new mantra, it doesn't surprise me that they also decided to pull out. So E3 this year is going to be interesting to see how they function and manage it without the big three companies. And that is all for the the news blitz.
Oh wait, thank you, bro. All right, gents, before we close off, is there anything else y'all want to mention?
Nah.
Oh,
Rosa
good.
Parks.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
good.
And that is it for the show. So, peeps, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you please like, subscribe, and follow for more. Whichever is applicable to you and your preferred platform, we make sure that we are everywhere. Otherwise, if you have any comments, suggestions, or you just want to say hey, you can do so in the comment section. That is all for this week. We'll catch you again next week. Be good, stay healthy, and join us again for more gaming tidbits. This has been the weekly patch notes, and with me were Max and Kojo, and I'm Thamziri, and we will check y'all later. Peace.